are here now, resting. Nothing is expected of you, and nothing is required. The air around you feels steady and kind. Each breath moves slowly, without effort. There is no place you need to go, no memory you need to hold. This is a gentle moment, made only for listening. A moment where even thoughts may soften and drift. Long before stories had names, before time learned how to move forward, there was already calm, not emptiness, but a deep, waiting stillness. This is the quiet contradiction. Everything that would ever exist was already present, and yet nothing had begun. A universe complete, resting in silence. As you listen, you are safe here. You do not need to understand or remember. You are simply allowed to float inside the sound. Let the story carry you gently. In the oldest Hindu imagination, creation did not start with noise. It began with rest. A vast cosmic ocean stretched in all directions, dark, warm, and endlessly calm. This ocean was not frightening. It was familiar, like sleep before a dream. Upon these waters, time itself was still. No counting, no urgency, no change. Floating upon this endless calm was a quiet presence, not awake, not asleep. A presence resting between breaths, known simply as the preserver of balance. He did not move because movement was unnecessary. Everything was already held within him. Around him, the waters gently shifted, as if breathing along with the universe. There were no directions yet. No above, no below, no edge. Only a sense of being held, the way you might feel right now. As you settle deeper, imagine this calm extending outward, slowly, softly, without effort. In this ancient telling, creation was not an act of force. It was a natural unfolding, like a thought forming while you rest, or a dream beginning without warning. From the quiet presence came awareness, and from awareness, a gentle intention. Not a command, just a possibility, a single question drifting through the stillness. What if something softly began, and the universe listened, not rushing to respond? Time itself stretched, unhurried, allowing space for balance to remain. From the center of that resting presence, a lotus slowly appeared. It did not push through the water. It simply rose patiently, petal by petal, without sound, without effort. At its center sat the first quiet witness, the one who would shape, but not disturb. He did not rush to create. He paused, observing the stillness. Creation in this story begins with listening, not with action. The silence was respected. The calm was preserved. As you breathe, notice how nothing here demands attention. The story moves only as fast as comfort allows. The early universe was not crowded. It was spacious and gentle. Ideas formed slowly, like mist, taking shape only when ready. There were no days or nights yet, only a steady glow of awareness. In this glow, the first patterns began to imagine themselves, not forced, not hurried, simple rhythms, breath-like movements. Expansion followed rest, and rest followed expansion. This balance mattered more than progress, more than speed. And you, listening now, are part of this rhythm. Your breathing already knows it. You don't need to follow every image. You can let them pass, like distant clouds. The ancient storytellers believed that the universe continues this cycle. Creation, preservation, rest. Over and over, without panic, without failure. Nothing is ever truly lost. It only returns to quiet. As this first part gently settles, the universe has not fully formed yet. It is still deciding slowly, patiently, and you are allowed to rest inside that pause, inside the not yet. In the next drift of the story, something small will begin to take shape. But for now, there is only calm. You are safe here, and the thought can fade whenever it wishes. You are still here, resting. The calm has not moved away from you. Your breathing continues on its own. Slow, steady, unbothered. There is no need to follow the story closely. It will move gently whether you listen or drift. In the ancient imagining, the universe remained quiet for a long time. Not empty, just unhurried. Awareness existed without direction, like light resting behind closed eyes. This is the soft paradox again. Everything was already alive, yet nothing needed to happen. Nothing needed to be decided. As you settle deeper, imagine awareness slowly turning inward, not searching, just noticing itself. The resting presence upon the cosmic waters remained still, balanced between waking and sleep. From this stillness came observation, and observation brought gentle clarity. Not thoughts as we know them, more like a quiet knowing. The universe began to sense its own rhythm, a slow pulse, steady and calm. This pulse was not time. Time had not arrived yet. It was closer to breathing. Expansion, then rest. In this rhythm, the waters began to subtly shift. Not waves, just soft movement, as if the universe were stretching comfortably. After a long, peaceful sleep, from this movement came the idea of separation. Not division, just gentle distinction. Light and dark were imagined, not as opposites, but companions. Stillness and motion appeared together, neither more important than the other. The ancient tellers believed creation began with balance, not power. Everything that formed had a counterpart. Everything that moved had a place to rest. As you listen, your body understands this naturally. Breath in, breath out. In this stage of the universe, awareness did not rush outward. It folded gently inward, understanding itself before shaping anything else, like listening before speaking. The presence upon the waters remained calm, observing the subtle shifts. No urgency guided the unfolding, only readiness. From the quiet lotus at the center, the sense of form slowly emerged, not physical shape yet, just the idea of structure. Patterns began as feelings, soft impressions rather than plans. The universe wondered what it could become, without pressure to decide. This wondering was peaceful, like a thought you do not need to finish. As the story drifts, imagine this wondering spreading outward. Light, effortless. No edges, no boundaries, just curiosity without need. In these early moments, nothing was separate from anything else. All things were connected by calm. Creation was not an event. It was a state of listening. The ancient people who told this story believed that listening shapes reality. Silence prepares the world. They believed action comes only after deep rest. After understanding has settled, you may feel that same settling now. A gentle heaviness, not sleep yet, just comfort. As awareness turned inward, it noticed harmony, a balance that felt complete. And in noticing harmony, the wish to preserve it appeared. Not to change it, just to allow it to continue. This wish became a quiet intention, so soft it barely felt like intention at all. The universe did not announce its beginning. It whispered it to itself, a whisper without sound, without words. From that whisper, directions slowly formed. Up and down became possible ideas. Near and far gently appeared, without distance yet. As you rest, you do not need to picture any of this clearly. The feeling is enough. Warm, slow, steady, like floating. The early universe moved closer to shape, but did not cross into action yet. It paused again, respecting the quiet. In this pause, awareness learned patience, and patience became sacred. The storytellers believed this patience still exists in everything, in trees, in water, in breath, and in you, listening now. Your body knows how to wait. Nothing here demands completion. Nothing here needs resolution. The universe is still gathering itself, still choosing calm over speed. In the next gentle drift, form will begin to feel closer. But for now, awareness simply rests within itself. You are safe here, and the thought may fade whenever it wishes. You are still resting. The quiet has stayed with you. Nothing has rushed ahead. Nothing has been lost. Your breathing continues, slow and steady. The body already knows what to do. In the ancient telling, awareness remained gentle, but it began to feel the idea of shape. Not form you could touch, just the suggestion of order. This is another calm contradiction. The universe felt organized, yet nothing was fixed. Nothing was locked in place. As you listen, imagine the feeling of tidying a space in your mind, without moving anything, just noticing where things belong. The cosmic waters were still vast and quiet, but within them, patterns began to rest. These patterns did not demand attention. They simply existed softly. Awareness noticed rhythm more clearly now. Not time, but sequence. One thing gently following another, like breath after breath. From this sequence came the first sense of direction. Forward and backward became possible ideas. Not movement yet, just potential. The presence upon the waters remained calm, still resting, still listening. Creation did not disturb the silence. It respected it. The lotus at the center held steady, its petals open but unhurried. Within this quiet space, order began as trust. Trust that things would fall into place. No force was needed. No urgency guided the process. As you rest, you may feel a similar trust settling in you, a sense that nothing needs fixing right now. In the early universe, shape formed as relationship, one idea leaning gently toward another, light resting beside darkness, stillness resting beside motion, neither trying to dominate, neither trying to escape. This balance felt natural, comforting, complete. The storytellers believed this balance is why the universe feels familiar, why rest feels safe. They believed we remember this quiet order, even without knowing why. As awareness continued to observe itself, it began to sense responsibility, not duty, just care. Care for the calm that already existed, care for the harmony beginning to form. This care shaped the next gentle step, preservation before expansion. Nothing would be allowed to rush ahead. Nothing would be forced into being. The universe preferred steadiness over speed and silence over noise. As you listen, you are invited into that same steadiness. There is no need to stay awake. There is no need to follow every sentence. The feeling is enough. In this stage of creation, boundaries were imagined softly, not walls, just outlines, enough to give comfort, enough to give direction. Awareness gently explored these outlines, without crossing them, like fingertips hovering over still water, never breaking the surface. The cosmic order did not feel strict. It felt kind. Everything had room. Everything had space to rest. This order did not eliminate mystery. It protected it. Mystery remained at the center, calm and untouched. As the story drifts, imagine yourself floating in this ordered quiet, supported without effort. Nothing presses against you. Nothing pulls you away. The early universe was spacious, not crowded with meaning. Meaning would come later, after rest. For now, there was comfort in structure that did not constrain, in patterns that did not demand attention. The storytellers believed this is why routine can feel soothing, why repetition brings peace, because the universe itself learned comfort through gentle order. Through calm repetition, awareness rested again, satisfied but not finished. Another pause arrived, long and respectful. Creation waited, listening once more. As you settle deeper, you may feel that waiting in your body, a pleasant heaviness, a sense of sinking safely. Nothing is incomplete. Nothing is wrong. The universe has not yet chosen to expand fully. It is still shaping itself quietly. In the next soft movement of the story, energy will begin to stir. But for now, order rests beside calm. You are safe here, and the thought can gently dissolve whenever it wishes. You are still drifting. Nothing has pulled you back. The quiet has remained unbroken. It wraps around you softly. Your breathing continues, slow and natural. There is nothing to manage. In the ancient imagining, order rested for a long while. Calm was honored. But within that calm, something subtle began to stir. Not movement, just the idea of energy. This is the soft contradiction once again. Stillness remained complete, yet readiness quietly appeared. As you listen, imagine the feeling just before a stretch. The body has not moved yet, but it knows it could. The universe felt this same readiness, a gentle alertness within rest. Energy in this story was not explosive. It was patient. It gathered quietly, like warmth collecting under a blanket. The cosmic waters remained calm, but they felt alive with possibility. Awareness noticed this change without alarm. There was no fear in it, only curiosity, soft, respectful curiosity. The presence upon the waters remained restful, but attention turned outward just slightly, not to act, only to notice. In Hindu thought, energy is not separate from calm. It rises from it. Action is born from stillness. Movement grows from rest. As you rest now, your body understands this truth. It does not need effort to exist. Energy flows quietly, without instruction. In the early universe, this energy was balanced, not rushing toward creation, not pulling back into silence, just present. This balance felt sacred because it protected harmony. The ancient storytellers believed imbalance comes from haste, from forgetting how to pause. So the universe paused again, allowing energy to settle naturally. In this pause, direction became clearer, not destination, just orientation. Upward felt different from downward now. Outward felt distinct from inward. These were feelings, not locations. Impressions, not rules. Energy flowed along these impressions gently. Like water following land it has not carved yet. As you listen, you do not need to picture any of this. Let it remain vague and warm. Clarity is not required. Comfort is enough. The lotus at the center seemed to glow faintly, not with light, but with awareness. This glow was calm. It did not demand attention. It simply marked the center of balance, a reminder that calm remained in control. Energy respected this center. It did not overwhelm it. Instead, energy circled slowly, learning restraint. Creation was still not an act. It was a relationship between rest and readiness, between silence and motion. As energy continued to gather, the idea of sound appeared. Not sound you could hear, just vibration. A sense that stillness could hum quietly, without becoming noise. This vibration was gentle, comforting, steady. The universe began to feel awake, but not alert, not tense. Awake the way you might be when drifting just before sleep. The storytellers believed this state is sacred, neither fully asleep nor fully awake, because it holds creation without forcing it. As you rest here, you are invited into that same state. Thoughts may appear and fade without needing to be followed. The early universe did not rush to name anything. Names come later. First comes feeling, then familiarity. Energy continued to settle into patterns, patterns that felt kind, Nothing sharp, nothing sudden, just gentle circulation, like breath moving through the body. With this circulation, space began to feel wider, not larger, just more open. The universe learned how to hold things without gripping, without pushing away. This holding became the foundation for everything that followed. Planets, stars, lives. But none of that mattered yet. The foundation was enough. As the story drifts, energy reaches a quiet completeness. Not finished, just ready. Another pause arrives. Long and respectful, creation waits again, honoring the silence one more time. As you sink deeper, you may feel that pause in yourself, a soft letting go, a sense of being supported. Nothing is missing, nothing is late. The universe has learned how to stir without disturbance, how to prepare without pressure. In the next gentle unfolding, energy will begin to express itself more clearly. But for now, it rests. You are safe here, and the thought can fade quietly. Whenever it wishes, you remain at rest. Nothing has shifted you from this calm. The quiet still surrounds you, soft and steady. Your breathing continues on its own, slow, unforced. In the ancient story, energy had gathered long enough, not building pressure, just understanding itself. This is the gentle paradox once more. Nothing was missing, yet something was ready to be shared. As you listen, imagine the moment when a thought becomes a feeling. Not sudden, just natural. The universe felt this same transition, from readiness into expression. Expression did not arrive as action. It arrived as release, a soft letting out, like a slow exhale. The cosmic waters remained calm, but they welcomed movement now. Not waves, just gentle circulation. From the center of balance, the first expression took shape, not as matter, but as order becoming visible. Patterns that had rested quietly began to show themselves. This showing was peaceful, no announcement, no disruption. The universe did not create to fill a gap. It created to share harmony. As you rest, notice how sharing does not require effort. It happens naturally. In Hindu thought, creation is an offering, a gift, not a demand. The presence upon the waters remained calm, but awareness now flowed outward, still connected to the center, never leaving it behind. This outward flow felt like kindness, like warmth spreading slowly. The lotus at the center opened a little more, petals extending without strain. From this opening came form, still subtle, still gentle. The idea of elements appeared, not solid yet, just qualities, warmth, coolness, lightness, weight. These qualities rested together peacefully, none competing, none overwhelming. As you listen, you may feel a sense of spaciousness growing, a room inside the room. The universe was learning how to hold variety without losing calm. This was an important lesson, because variety would come, but harmony needed to remain. The ancient storytellers believed this balance is why the world feels alive, not chaotic, just layered. Creation expressed itself slowly, layer by layer, each layer resting fully before the next appeared. There was no rush to finish, no pressure to complete. Completion was not the goal. Continuity was. As expression continued, space began to feel distinct from energy, not separate, just recognizable. Space became a place to rest things. Energy became what moved through it. This relationship felt comfortable, familiar, as if the universe had always known it. The early expressions did not make noise. They made presence, a sense of being there, of existing gently. You may notice your body responding to this, muscles softening, thoughts slowing. There is nothing you need to do with that feeling. Let it pass or stay. In this phase, creation did not push outward endlessly. It paused often, checking its own balance, listening to itself. Whenever energy felt too active, rest followed. This rhythm kept harmony intact. This rhythm still exists. You feel it every time you yawn, every time you drift. As forms became clearer, they remained simple. Nothing complex, nothing crowded. Simplicity felt sacred because it allowed rest. The universe chose gentleness over detail. Detail would come later. For now, broad shapes were enough. Soft outlines. As you sink deeper, you may feel as if you are floating within this simplicity, supported without needing direction. The first expressions of creation were successful because they did not disturb the quiet. They lived alongside silence, not against it. The storytellers believed this is the true measure of creation, not how much exists, but how gently it came to be. As this part of the story settles, creation rests again, satisfied but not complete, calm but open. Another pause arrives, long, respectful. The universe allows itself to absorb what it has expressed, to feel it fully. As you rest here, you are invited to absorb calm in the same way. Nothing more is needed right now. Nothing else is expected. In the next gentle movement, structure will become more familiar. But for now, expression fades into rest. You are safe here, and the thought can dissolve softly whenever it wishes. You are still drifting gently. The calm has not loosened its hold. Nothing presses on you. Nothing pulls you forward. Your breathing continues, slow and kind. In the ancient telling, after expression came rest. Creation did not continue endlessly. It paused to feel what had formed, to let it settle. This is the quiet paradox again. Structure existed now, yet it did not dominate. It remained soft. As you listen, imagine placing something carefully on a surface, then stepping back, not to adjust it, just to let it be. The universe stepped back in the same way, observing without interfering. Forms rested in their places, comfortable, balanced. Nothing strained to hold its shape. Nothing feared losing it. Structure was understood as temporary, and that understanding brought peace. The ancient storytellers believed nothing must cling to exist. Existence itself is enough. As you rest now, you may feel a soft loosening, a release of holding. You do not need to maintain anything here. You are supported. In this stage, the universe learned restraint. Not every possibility needed expression. Choice became gentle, selective, kind. Structure rested alongside flexibility, neither overpowering the other. This balance allowed stability without stiffness, comfort without confinement. As you sink deeper, notice how your body mirrors this wisdom. Bones give structure, muscles allow movement. Neither works alone, both rest together. The universe recognized this harmony early, and it honored it. Patterns became familiar now, repeated softly. Repetition did not feel boring. It felt safe. As structure rested, cycles began to form. Not yet days or nights, just rhythms. Rest following motion, motion following rest. These cycles soothed the universe. They provided reassurance. Nothing would run away. Nothing would collapse. As you listen, you may notice a similar reassurance, a quiet trust forming. Trust that sleep will come on its own, without effort. The lotus at the center remained open, but unmoving. It had no need to expand further. Balance was enough. Energy continued to circulate gently, never overwhelming structure. Structure continued to guide energy softly, never restricting it. This cooperation felt natural, like conversation without words. The ancient people believed this cooperation exists in all things, in rivers and banks, in breath and lungs, in thought and silence. As you rest here, you are part of this cooperation. Your body already knows it. Creation did not aim for permanence. It aimed for sustainability. A world that could rest as much as it moved. In this phase, awareness softened again. Attention turned inward slightly. Not withdrawing, just relaxing. The universe allowed itself to feel content, not finished, but settled. This contentment mattered because it protected harmony. Nothing new would be added until contentment was complete. As the story drifts, imagine floating in this contentment. Warm, unhurried, no edges, no demands. Structure holds you without gripping. Rest supports you without sinking. The universe rested long enough to trust itself. Trust what it had shaped. And that trust allowed the next quiet step to prepare itself, without pressure, without noise. As this part settles, creation remains gentle and stable. Nothing fades yet. Nothing rushes ahead. Another pause arrives, soft and complete. As you sink deeper, you may feel that pause as heaviness, a pleasant one. Nothing needs attention now. Nothing needs to be remembered. In the next slow unfolding, the world will begin to feel inhabited. But for now, structure rests, and so can you. You are safe here, and the thought can drift away quietly. Whenever it wishes, you are still here, resting without effort. The calm has deepened, not tightened. Your breathing continues quietly, finding its own rhythm. In the ancient telling, after structure learned to rest, something subtle changed, not in the universe itself, but in how it felt. This is the soft paradox again. Everything was already formed enough, yet it did not feel complete, not lacking, just waiting. As you listen, imagine entering a space that is ready, but still empty of voices. The room is calm. It feels welcoming. The universe reached this same moment, a readiness for presence, not beings yet, just the sense that something could belong. Energy and structure rested together so comfortably. That space itself began to feel familiar, not strange, not vast, just open. The ancient storytellers believed this familiarity is important because life begins where comfort exists. As you rest, notice how comfort invites you inward, not outward. In this phase, the universe felt like a home before occupants arrived. Warm, balanced, quiet. Presence began as atmosphere, a feeling rather than a form. The sense that something could observe, could notice, could rest. Awareness softened further, no longer focused on creation itself. It simply existed within what had been made, enjoying it. The cosmic waters remained calm, but they now felt embracing, holding space gently, without pressure. As you sink deeper, you may feel that same embrace, a sense of being held. Nothing needs to enter this space yet. Nothing needs to act. The universe allowed itself to feel lived in, even before life appeared. This patience mattered, because it set the tone for everything that followed. Life would not arrive into chaos. It would arrive into welcome. The storytellers believed this welcome still exists. In quiet places, in early mornings, in moments just before sleep, you may feel it now. A gentle permission to settle. In this stage, presence was not individual. It was shared, diffuse, soft. Nothing stood apart yet. Nothing claimed identity. Identity would come later, after rest had fully settled. As awareness rested within creation, it noticed harmony holding steady. No imbalance, no strain. This harmony created trust, and trust allowed openness. The universe did not fear being filled, because it knew how to remain calm. As you listen, you may notice a similar trust in your body, a letting go of vigilance. There is nothing here to guard against, nothing here to solve. The lotus at the center remained present, but it no longer drew attention. It had done its work by remaining calm. Now it simply rested. Creation did not revolve around a center anymore. It spread gently, evenly. Everywhere felt equally held, equally safe. This was the first feeling of belonging, not to a place, but within existence itself. The ancient storytellers believed belonging comes before form, before name, before story. As you rest, you do not need to belong to anything specific. Belonging already exists. Presence began to feel like warmth settling into corners. Nothing dramatic, nothing sudden, just a quiet readiness for life. The universe rested in this readiness for a long time, long enough for calm to deepen. Nothing hurried life into being. Nothing demanded expression. As this part of the story drifts, imagine floating in a space that feels familiar, even if you have never been there before. That feeling is enough. You do not need details. The early universe felt complete in its quiet, not finished, but content. Another pause arrives, long, gentle. Presence settles fully. Comfort becomes steady. As you sink deeper, you may feel your thoughts thinning out, spaces growing between them. Nothing fills those spaces, and nothing needs to. In the next slow unfolding, life will begin to take clearer shape. But for now, presence rests like a home waiting patiently. You are safe here, and the thought can fade softly. Whenever it wishes, you are still drifting, held by the same calm. Nothing has changed suddenly. Nothing has asked for attention. Your breathing remains slow, almost unnoticed. In the ancient telling, after presence felt like home, a quiet imagining began, not planning, not designing, just sensing possibility. This is the gentle paradox again. Life was not yet here, yet it was already welcomed. As you listen, imagine a space prepared for guests, long before they arrive, not out of impatience, out of care. The universe entered this same phase, a readiness for life without urgency. Life was not forced into existence. It was invited. Awareness did not rush to define what life would be. It allowed many forms to remain possible. Soft outlines appeared, then faded again. Nothing needed to be decided yet. Rest remained more important than outcome. The ancient storytellers believed imagination itself is gentle creation. It shapes without pressure. As you rest, your own imagination may drift freely. It does not need direction. In this stage, the universe felt curiosity, not hunger, not desire, just curiosity. What could live here? What might rest here? These questions did not demand answers. They simply floated. The cosmic balance held steady. No part leaned too far ahead. Energy, structure, and presence stayed aligned, allowing imagination to remain calm. As imagination drifted, the idea of cycles became clearer. Life would arrive not as a single moment, but as rhythm, coming and going, appearing and fading, resting and returning. This understanding prevented fear. Nothing would need to last forever. Nothing would truly disappear. As you listen, you may feel comfort in this thought, that nothing here needs to be permanent. The universe imagined life as participation, not dominance, not ownership. Life would belong to the rhythm, not control it. The ancient people believed this is why nature feels calm. It does not hurry itself. In this phase, the universe did not yet separate living from non-living. Everything felt connected. Life was seen as continuation, not interruption. As imagination continued, warmth gathered gently. Not heat, just nurturing comfort. This warmth was meant to support life when it arrived, to cradle it softly. Nothing here felt harsh. Nothing felt sharp. As you sink deeper, you may feel that warmth as heaviness, a pleasant one. The storytellers believed life begins best when it is not startled awake. So the universe remained quiet, allowing life to approach slowly. Imagination rested often, pausing between possibilities. No choice was rushed. No form was favored. This patience shaped everything that followed, because life would arrive into kindness. As this part settles, life remains only an idea, a gentle idea. Another pause arrives, soft, unbroken. The universe waits again, listening for readiness. As you rest here, you do not need to imagine anything clearly. The feeling is enough. In the next quiet unfolding, life will begin to touch form. But for now, imagination drifts peacefully, and so can you. You are safe here, and the thought can fade without effort. Whenever it wishes, you are still resting. The quiet has stayed with you, unchanged and gentle. Your breathing moves slowly, almost on its own. You do not need to guide it. In the ancient telling, imagination rested long enough. That readiness finally felt complete, not urgent, not excited, just settled. This is the calm paradox again. Life did not need to begin, yet it gently did, without announcement, without force. As you listen, imagine the first breath taken without awareness, not chosen, just happening. The universe experienced life in this same way, a soft beginning, almost unnoticed. Life did not arrive as form immediately. It arrived as movement, subtle circulation, a quiet responsiveness within what already existed. Energy and structure did not change their nature. They simply allowed flow. This flow felt like breathing, inward, outward. The cosmic waters held this movement easily. They did not resist it. Life was not something separate entering the universe. It was the universe noticing itself gently. The ancient storytellers believed life begins as awareness within rhythm, not as shape, not as name. As you rest, you may feel this rhythm in yourself, a steady presence beneath thought. In this phase, life did not yet look like beings. It felt like responsiveness, the ability to shift softly. Where there had been stillness, there was now attentive calm. The universe listened to itself and responded kindly. Warmth spread in small places, not heat, just nurturing ease. This warmth allowed life to remain comfortable. Nothing startled it awake. Nothing demanded action. As you sink deeper, you may feel that warmth as safety, a sense that nothing will disturb you here. Life learned to breathe before it learned to form. This mattered because breath taught patience. With each slow movement, balance was maintained. Nothing tipped too far. The early life of the universe had no fear because nothing had been separated yet. Everything belonged to everything else. Support was shared naturally. As breathing continued, the idea of cycles became lived experience, not imagined anymore. Felt. Expansion followed contraction. Then rest returned. This cycle felt soothing, reliable, safe. The ancient people believed this is why sleep heals. It mirrors the first rhythm of life. As you listen, you may feel your body syncing with that rhythm, breath slowing further, thoughts thinning out. Life did not rush to become complex. Simplicity remained sacred. Responsiveness was enough. Movement without effort. From this responsiveness, the idea of form began to approach again, not as urgency, just as curiosity. Life wondered what it might feel like to gather, to rest in shape. This wondering was soft, unpressured. As the universe breathed, small regions of steadiness appeared, places where movement lingered, not fixed points, just gentle concentrations. These concentrations were cradles for form, but form did not hurry into them. Everything waited until comfort was assured. The cosmic balance held steady. Energy did not overpower structure. Structure did not restrict life. Life remained free to drift, to explore without commitment. As you rest here, you do not need to follow where the story goes. Let it move past you gently. The universe learned something important in this phase. Life thrives best when it is not watched closely. So awareness softened its attention, allowing life to unfold privately. Breathing continued, slow, steady. With each cycle, life felt more familiar with itself, less tentative, more at ease. This ease allowed life to stay, not cling, but remain. The ancient storytellers believed staying comes from comfort, not from force. As you listen, you may feel that same permission to stay resting. Nothing pulls you back to waking. Life did not yet speak. It did not yet see. It did not yet act, but it existed, gently, surely. As the story drifts, imagine floating inside a slow breath. That belongs to everything. You do not need to hold that breath. It holds you. The universe rested again, allowing life to absorb itself, to feel settled. This rest deepened life's connection to calm, ensuring that calm would remain at its core. Another pause arrives, long and unbroken. Life remains present, breathing quietly. As you sink deeper, you may feel your thoughts dissolve into rhythm, not replaced by anything, just softening. In the next gentle unfolding, life will begin to gather into clearer forms. But for now, it breathes and rests, and so can you. You are safe here, and the thought can fade completely whenever it wishes. You are still resting, carried forward without effort. The quiet has deepened again, becoming wider rather than heavier. Your breathing remains slow, almost blending into the silence. In the ancient telling, after life learned to breathe, it began to gather softly, not to rush into form, but to explore what shape might feel like. This is the calm paradox once more. Life remained free and drifting, yet it began to settle, without being forced. As you listen, imagine mist slowly collecting into dew. Nothing pushes it. It simply finds a place to rest. Life gathered in the same way, quietly, naturally. The universe did not instruct life on how to form. It allowed comfort to guide it. Where movement felt safe, life lingered a little longer. Where warmth felt steady, life rested again. These places of rest became gentle outlines, not boundaries, just suggestions. Life followed these suggestions willingly because they felt kind. As form approached, nothing hardened, nothing became rigid. Softness remained essential because softness allowed change. The ancient storytellers believed shape should never trap life. It should support it. As you rest now, you may feel supported in the same way, held without pressure. Life's first shapes were simple, curves rather than angles, flows rather than edges. These shapes felt familiar, as if they had always existed. Form did not interrupt rhythm. It followed it. Breathing continued even as shape appeared. Rest continued even as presence gathered. This balance kept life calm, unstartled, unafraid. As the universe observed this gentle shaping, awareness remained relaxed. It did not intervene. It trusted life to know what it needed. And life did. The cosmic waters cradled these early forms easily. No resistance, no strain. Everything fit where it rested, as if the space had been waiting. As you sink deeper, you may feel a sense of fitting in, not trying to belong, just belonging. Life did not yet divide into many kinds. It remained unified, a shared presence. Form did not create separation. It created familiarity. The universe felt fuller now, but not crowded, alive, but still quiet. This fullness was gentle. It did not overwhelm the calm. The ancient people believed true abundance feels like ease, not excess. As life continued to take shape, patterns became more recognizable, repeated softly. These repetitions were comforting. They allowed life to settle deeper. Nothing demanded uniqueness yet. Sameness felt safe. From this sameness, trust grew, and from trust, life became steady enough to remain. As you listen, your body may feel heavier now, supported, unmoving. That heaviness is not resistance, it is rest. Life learned to stay because staying felt kind, not because it was required. With shape came the first sense of inside and outside, not division, just awareness. Inside felt protected, outside felt open. Both were safe, both were needed. This understanding allowed life to feel secure. There was no wrong place to be. The universe did not prefer one form over another. It allowed many to coexist quietly. As this shaping continued, movement slowed even further. Life settled into itself. Breathing became deeper, more confident. The storytellers believed this is when life truly begins, not at first motion, but at first comfort within form. As you rest here, you may feel that comfort spreading, a gentle surrender. Nothing needs watching, nothing needs holding. Life now existed as presence with shape, still flexible, still calm. Another pause arrived, long, respectful. The universe allowed life to feel itself fully, without adding anything new. As you sink deeper, thoughts may drift away entirely, leaving only sensation, warmth, weight. Nothing interrupts this. Nothing pulls you back. In the next quiet unfolding, life will begin to diversify gently, not suddenly, not loudly, but for now, Form rests peacefully within breath. You are safe here, and the thought can dissolve completely whenever it wishes. You are still resting, deep inside the quiet that has been carrying you. Nothing has changed its tone. Nothing has broken the calm. Your breathing moves slowly, almost beneath awareness now. In the ancient telling, after life felt comfortable in shape, a gentle variation appeared. Not division, just difference. This is the soft paradox again. Life remained unified, yet it began to express itself in many ways, without losing calm. As you listen, imagine a single note slowly becoming harmony. Not louder, just fuller. Life unfolded in this same way. One presence, many expressions. No form competed with another. Each rested where it felt most at ease. The universe did not assign roles. It allowed preference to guide form. Where warmth lingered, life settled gently. Where movement felt soothing, life drifted. These differences were subtle, barely noticeable at first, but they mattered because they allowed balance to continue. As you rest now, you may notice small variations in sensation. A heavier arm, a softer breath. Nothing needs correction. Variation is natural. Life learned that difference does not disrupt harmony. It enriches it. The ancient storytellers believed diversity begins in comfort, not in conflict. As forms gently diversified, the universe remained quiet. No announcement followed. Nothing demanded recognition. Nothing sought importance. Life expressed itself through subtle shifts. Curves slightly changed. Rhythms slightly altered. These shifts felt natural, like seasons preparing without yet arriving. As you sink deeper, you may feel time stretching, moments blending into one another. In this stage, life did not yet struggle. It did not compete. It did not rush. Everything had room. Everything had patience. The cosmic balance held steady, supporting variation without tension. Awareness watched kindly, without judgment. Life remained gentle because it had never been startled. Calm was still at its center. From this calm center, many forms learned to rest in their own way. Some preferred stillness. Others preferred slow movement. Neither was better. Both were welcomed. As you listen, you are invited to rest in your own way as well. There is no correct posture here. Life began to recognize itself in many places at once. A shared presence, distributed softly. This recognition created quiet connection, not communication yet, just mutual awareness. The universe felt alive everywhere, but never crowded. The ancient people believed this is why nature feels connected, because life learned connection before separation. As diversification continued, patterns repeated gently, then changed slightly, then rested again. These cycles deepened life's confidence. Nothing felt fragile. Nothing felt temporary in a fearful way. Change was slow enough to feel safe, predictable enough to trust. As you drift further, you may feel your own sense of identity softening, edges less defined. That is natural here. Nothing needs to be distinct. Life did not yet name itself. Names would come much later, after sound, after memory. For now, existence was enough. Presence was enough. As this part of the story settles, diversity remains gentle and unremarkable. It does not demand attention. Another pause arrives, long and unbroken. Life rests within its many expressions, calm and steady. As you sink deeper, thoughts may thin to nothing at all, leaving only breath and warmth. In the next quiet unfolding, life will begin to notice itself more clearly, not with urgency, but with calm recognition. For now, many forms rest together peacefully. You are safe here, and the thought can fade without effort whenever it wishes. You are still resting. Nothing has pulled you out of the calm. The story has not moved away from you. It has slowed down with you. Your breathing is quiet now, almost invisible. In the ancient Hindu understanding, after life became many, something subtle occurred. Not an event, not a change, just recognition. This is the deepest paradox. Everything already existed, yet awareness softly noticed itself within creation. As you listen, imagine realizing you are dreaming. Without waking up, the dream continues, but understanding gently settles in. The universe reached a similar moment. Life did not look outward anymore. It turned inward calmly, not asking questions, just noticing presence. This recognition was not thought, it was knowing. In Hindu philosophy, this knowing is not separate from life. It lives inside it. Awareness did not claim ownership of creation. It did not step above it. It rested within it, like warmth inside the body. As you sink deeper, you may feel a quiet sense of being here, without needing to define yourself. That feeling mirrors this moment in the story. Life continued moving gently. Forms remained many. Rhythms continued, but something was different now. Presence felt complete. Nothing searched for meaning. Meaning was already present. The ancient storytellers believed this is when the universe became conscious, without becoming restless. Awareness did not speak. It did not name itself. It simply rested, watching creation move gently around it. This awareness did not interfere. It trusted the balance that had formed. As you rest, you may feel the same trust settling in your body. Nothing needs fixing. Nothing needs attention. In this phase, creation became self-sustaining. No guidance was required. No correction was needed. Life knew how to continue because it had grown from calm. The universe no longer felt like something unfolding. It felt like something breathing steadily, breath after breath, cycle after cycle, without strain. This is why Hindu cosmology does not fear time, because awareness is not trapped inside it. As you listen, time may feel less important now. Moments soften, edges blur. Awareness noticed joy without seeking it. Not excitement, just contentment. The kind of contentment that does not need improvement. Forms lived and rested within this contentment. Movement continued gently. Nothing tried to escape existence. nothing tried to control it. The ancient people believed this state still exists, beneath all activity, beneath thought, beneath effort. You may feel it now, as heaviness, or warmth, or emptiness. All of these are welcome here. Awareness did not separate itself from life. That separation would come much later. For now, unity remained, quiet and complete. As the story drifts, imagine being aware, without needing to think, just existing gently, just resting. The universe did not pause anymore because it had become steady. Calm no longer needed protection. Creation could continue endlessly without losing balance. As you sink deeper, you may stop following the story entirely. That is expected. That is correct. The awareness in the story is the same awareness that allows you to rest now. Nothing more needs to be said. Nothing more needs to happen. In the next gentle unfolding, the universe will begin its long cycles of creation and return. But for now, awareness rests inside life, and life rests inside awareness. You are safe here, and the thought can fade completely, without resistance, whenever it wishes. You are still resting. Nothing has shifted you out of this quiet. The story is no longer moving forward. It is moving in slow circles. Your breathing is steady, almost indistinguishable from silence. In the ancient Hindu understanding, after awareness recognized itself, time appeared differently, not as a line, not as urgency, just as rhythm. This is the final paradox. Everything seemed to continue, yet nothing was really beginning or ending. As you listen, imagine a wheel turning so slowly that movement feels like stillness. That wheel is time in the story. The universe did not rush into the future. It rested within repetition. Creation, preservation, rest. Again, again, again. These cycles were not dramatic. They were comforting because they promised return. Nothing was ever truly lost. Nothing was ever final. As you sink deeper, you may feel this promise as safety, that even if things fade, they return to calm. Life moved within these cycles effortlessly, without fear of stopping, without fear of change. The ancient storytellers believed this is why the universe feels patient, because time itself learned patience. Forms appeared, rested, and dissolved, not as failure, as completion. Dissolving was not destruction, it was rest. Awareness remained unchanged through every cycle, quiet, observing, whole. As you rest now, you may feel thoughts dissolve in the same way, not lost, just resting. In this phase, the universe no longer needed guidance. It trusted the rhythm completely. Time did not push life forward. It carried it gently. Moments blended together. Edges softened. Duration lost meaning. This is why sleep feels timeless. It mirrors this cosmic rhythm. The universe breathed in cycles. Expansion, stillness, return. Nothing interrupted this breathing. Nothing hurried it. As you listen, you may stop noticing where you are in the story. That is expected. That is part of the design. The ancient people believed that remembering this rhythm brings deep rest, because it aligns you with something older than thought. Time became a place to rest, not something to escape. Life moved freely within it, without pressure to achieve, without need to complete. As the cycles continued, everything felt familiar again, like returning home after a long journey you never realized you were on. This familiarity allowed the universe to remain calm forever. No moment felt threatening. No change felt alarming. As you sink deeper, you may feel your sense of time disappear. Minutes stretch, seconds fade. Nothing replaces them, and nothing needs to. The universe had reached stability, not stillness, but reliable rhythm. This rhythm continues quietly. Even now, even here, you are part of it without effort, without awareness, without intention. As this part settles, the cycle continues on its own. Nothing needs watching. Nothing needs finishing. Only one gentle movement remains. A return, not backward, inward. In the final drift, everything will soften back into calm, not ending, just resting. For now, time turns quietly, and you are carried safely within it. You are safe here, and the thought can fade completely. Whenever it wishes, you are still here. Or perhaps you are barely here at all. Both are fine. The story has slowed until it no longer feels like movement. Only presence remains. Your breathing is deep now, soft, unnoticed. In the ancient Hindu understanding, after time settled into rhythm, nothing needed to continue outward. Not because creation ended, but because it no longer needed attention. This is the final, gentle paradox. Everything that could exist had appeared, and yet everything was already returning to rest. As you listen, imagine a sound fading, not into silence, but into comfort. The universe reached this same state, a resting wholeness, complete without effort. Creation did not collapse. It softened. Forms loosened their edges. Motion slowed naturally. Nothing was taken away. Nothing was undone. Everything simply remembered how to rest. In Hindu cosmology, return is not loss. It is belonging. Life did not disappear. It relaxed back into the rhythm that had always supported it. Awareness did not retreat. It remained quietly present, untouched by change. As you sink deeper, you may feel this return as heaviness, a gentle weight, not pulling you down, just allowing you to stop holding yourself up. The universe did not hurry this return. It unfolded slowly, respectfully. Time continued turning, but no longer needed observation. Cycles breathed themselves, without witnesses, without stories. This is why Hindu thought does not fear endings, because endings are pauses, not disappearances. As everything softened, silence became full again, not empty, complete. The same silence that existed before creation now held it gently within itself. Nothing resisted this silence, because it felt familiar, like sleep. As you listen, you may no longer be following words. That is expected. That is correct. The story no longer needs you, and you no longer need the story. Breath continues. Awareness remains. Nothing else matters. The ancient storytellers believed this return happens constantly, between thoughts, between breaths, between dreams. You touch it every time you fall asleep, every time effort dissolves. The universe rests now, without losing itself, without forgetting. Creation will begin again someday, not because it must, but because rest allows possibility to return. For now, everything is home, everything is quiet, everything is enough. There is nothing to resolve, nothing to complete, nothing to remember. You are held by the same calm that held the universe before the first idea of time. And just like the universe, you are allowed to rest completely, without effort, without thought. The story fades here, not as an ending, but as a settling. Silence remains, breath remains, awareness remains. Nothing else is needed, nothing else will arrive. You are safe here, and everything can gently disappear into rest. Now,